All right, my girl, Cynthia Frelund is truly one of the best in the business. I mean, gorgeous, brains, you got it. We are here live at Radio Row, NFL Network's analytics genius brainchild. Thank you for making
I'll give you the pure payment later. For
yes,
that
exactly. Yes, that's right. No payment needed. It is all true. I've worked with Cynthia. I've seen her in person doing all the things, and this game is exciting. Before we get to the game, how has it been? You've been in NOLA for how many days? I mean, it is crazy.
Tuesday. It's
okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
The humidity makes it like an added element of bananas. But I will say the food here is so good that you have like a lot of like different elements where you're like, wow, I just gotta eat this, but that makes it hard.
It
like
does.
keep eating everything, and I'm just like, there's just big circulating food, and you're like, I gotta try it. I mean, why wouldn't I?
Last night I had what's called a duck popper, which was like a duck sausage wrapped in bacon. I made a lethal decision in having way too many of them. But you're right, the food here is amazing. You have to strategize it. You have to strategize it.
You gotta try it. You gotta try everything.
My strategy is to eat everything.
Good for you.
It's an unfortunate strategy,
right?
Well, you guys both look great.
Yeah, when in NOLA. When in NOLA. All right, so are you psyched for this game, dude? Like, it's gonna be amazing, right?
It's cool. I mean, I understand. Like, look, I kind of like the fact that some people claim they have Chiefs fatigue. The fact that they're even saying that to me means that, like, they know it's important. You know what I mean? It's fun to. Obviously, I'm a Lions fan, so I would have loved to see the Chiefs and the Lions, David and Goliath. That, like, I would say that about the Rams, but y'all have been here recently, and in fact, you're the last NFC team to win. So the reality is that I'm just saying it would have been fun to have the whole world galvanized around the Lions. But other than that,
yeah. I mean, look, you talk about stats and analytics, and obviously one of the things I think you can't count out is what Patrick Mahomes does at the end of every single game. I don't know if you know the numbers, but that's why they've had so many close games, is because if you give him the ball with 90 seconds on the clock, what
90?
happens?
That's like an eternity. You gave him 13 seconds. Ask the Bills. They know what happens there. Look, the thing that's interesting, a couple things about Patrick Mahomes are different in the playoffs that we've seen. And it's number one, he scrambles more often or runs more often. It could be designed run, it could be scramble, etc. But he's playing with using his legs more often in the postseason. That's happened every single year. But this year, it's actually the most pronounced we've seen. Before it was 5% in the regular season. Now it's 15% of dropbacks. He's going to run. So that's number one. That's the difference. Number one. Then number two
is that by design?
I would argue that it's probably they get an extra option, right? If this huge, especially with your left side of your offensive line being so changed,
sure,
a little more susceptible to giving up pressure. Right. You're probably like, well, here, instead of this, we'll have this, and then that fourth one is wrong. So I would imagine that part of it is because of the adapting to what's going on the left side of the offensive line.
You were going to say a couple more lists, though. You were going to say a couple more things. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that's been different that I think is like really interesting is in the regular season, they used 12 personnel, the Chiefs did, in the red zone the most. So 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets, right? And that was interesting. In the postseason, doing that yet, because I think Andy Reid is fleecing us.
Okay.
I think he's setting us up for the tight end. Because when we watch Travis Kelce run a crosser, it's not like a crosser.
Right.
It's like a Patrick Mahomes and I have this like thingy that can best be called a crosser, but like it's not. So
choice
I think
route.
like a choice. There we go. Choice route.
Yes.
Scribble route.
Yes.
But ultimately, we haven't seen that alignment as much this postseason, and that is what I love about Andy Reid. He will be like, we actually ran this preseason week 3 of 2018 against the Broncos. I mean, I'm making that.
No, I totally understand.
That's exactly what will happen. So those are the two things that I'm interested in, like the tight end usage in the red zone, because postseason we haven't seen it as much, and then the regular season we did. Maybe it wasn't always Travis Kelce, but it was also Noah Gray. So it could be interesting.
And when you look at the analytics, so when you guys are trying to when you're looking at the analytics, what are you trying to derive at? So when you're looking at them, and it's just for like bettors, gamblers, just odd makers, or just to see the tendencies. So what is the overall, reason when you look at analytics?
Well, the better tools you have and the better way you can distill. Like if I'm trying to make a wall, right? Like if I have bricks, it's probably gonna work a little better than a bunch of sticks.
Agreed.
Right? So it's all about what tools you're using. You're not gonna be right. Like to me, analytics, if you can get 10% better in each game, then you're gonna win a lot more games in a season. Do you know what I mean? Like if you just have, so here are the tendencies, here's what we see this is like, for example, Chris Jones typically, usually before the season, really only lined up on the interior,
Right.
but now it's first and second down. We see Chris Jones on the inside, and then he kicks out to the outside on third down.
Yep.
That's a new tendency this year. That could be something where, like, I bet you they're going to line him up against Jordan Mailata because they only get one-on-one with Chris Jones and Jordan Mailata. Like, that's something that now the offense can be like, all right, if we see him line up there against this is what our count. Like, it's just to try to give yourself the best set of circumstances to anticipate ahead of time so that you have a solution for it. You're not going to be right? The most famous one I think this year was Josh Allen, who, he says against the Chiefs, he was when they beat the Chiefs in the regular season, he says, we had the perfect play for zone. And then they switched to it. It looked like zone, and then it's a fourth down.
Yes.
And then, they switched to man. So it ended up working in favor for the Bills in that case, but it doesn't always work. The point is they thought they were getting something. It's a strategy, right? The better strategy. You want to go in with a game plan, and now we have technology, and when we say analytics, I don't even know what that means anymore, but like ultimately it's like, how do you use the available set of data to create the best set of, this is our prep. The better prep, the better you play. That's typically.
Why did it? Because I'm with you. I'm in the same church, same pew. I just think it's sophisticated analytics. I mean, sophisticated scouting. Like when you play, boom, you get a scouting report. This is what the tendencies are, and it's just elevated, and they gave it an analytics just to say, hey, here's the numbers. But this has always been in football. You get a scouting report, and people are like, oh, these know exactly what you're saying. Here's the tendencies. This is what they're doing on this, and people are like thinking it's different, but it's like, dude, it's just giving it more in depth.
The thing that's different now is the technology has empowered us to, instead of look at 4 games worth of data, now you're looking at 40, but you're only narrowing it down to third downs and 7, like whatever it is. But you can just look at more faster. That's terrible English, I think, but whatever.
More faster. We get it. We're picking
at least it
I
makes sense.
I speak economics. I'm
perfect. I speak Cynthia, which doesn't make sense. But I mean, a part of it, like, so for example, people ask me this all the time about fourth down. Well, part of the reason why teams are going for it more on fourth down, especially when they're in their own. So why would they go for it on fourth down compared to kicking a short field? Well, the answer is because now with the new kickoff rule, look at where the average starting field position is for a team. Instead, wouldn't you rather give it to? So 3 points against Patrick Mahomes, meh. I'd either take a shot for it and try to get the 6 or 7, right? Or 8, I guess. Let's just call it 7. Or give Patrick Mahomes on the 10-yard line, then he has 90 yards to go. That feels a little different for me, right? So a lot of it has to do with field position, average starting field position, and the point dynamics, because do you really want to settle for a field goal against a team that scores in the last time you were in the Super Bowl against them, last 4 drives, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Well, and that's what Solomon Wilcott said yesterday, which was really interesting regarding if you're on the Eagles 20 and it's 4th and 1, do you go for it and potentially, set up in a very advantaged field position for the Chiefs? Or do you try? What do you do if you have like 30 seconds? Do they go for it or then give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes, who will slice and dice in, like you said, 30 seconds?
To me, of course, you have to look at some game flow there, because let's just say maybe you do take the field goal if you're getting Saquon Barkley 6-7 yards a clip, not 6-7 yards average after he had 1 long explosive plays and then 3 stop at the line. But if Saquon Barkley is going boom, boom, 6 yards, then you're going to want to take the short field goal and be like, have fun with that, because you're chewing up so much of the clock. But if you're not getting that advantage situation, if you're relying on, if he's getting stopped at the line of scrimmage, then you're having an outside throw to AJ Brown for 2 yards. Then you're like, if it's not going well for you, then maybe you keep them, maybe rely on your defense. So you have to read the room. You have to read what's going on in the game. But the way the Eagles win to me is if the average for Saquon, not the average when you're looking at the numbers, like 1 long one that averages out over 3 to be like whatever.
Right.
But if he's getting you consistently 6-7 yards, that's going to be boom for the Chiefs. That's how the Chiefs lose.
I was going to say is, what is the strategy? Nick Sirianni, looking at the numbers, looking at the analytics, that's something he's going to expect to do, or you're going to hope to see, if you're an Eagles fan, run and chew out the clock and take advantage of the Saquon Barkley.
Well, you're also going to have to hope that one of the other things I think that is an advantage in a weird way is they're 2 rookie on the defensive side for the Eagles. They're 2 rookie corners, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. The fact that those 2 guys, I don't know if it's possible. I'm sure they appreciate them, but do they recognize what this means? I don't know if it's possible. Like we talk about Jaden Daniels. You talk about Jaden Daniels not knowing the gravitas of the moment. I don't know if it's possible for them to, because they're rookie. Like again, I'm not saying they're not
I get it.
grateful.
But it could be even on the flip side, right? Thinking that they don't know, there could be an advantage too, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that is an advantage, right? Like, prep for the game. Like, they've never been on the other side of Radio Row doing all these players walking around. They're very sad. Like, I just saw David Montgomery walk by. Really go like it. But
I was pulling for him.
They're very sad.
But but point is like they haven't been through all this knowing how much is like how like
what this means.
What does this mean? They don't know. So that could be an advantage as well, because both defenses to me have hugely strong points. Both defensive fronts about a wash. When you say who has the advantage, the secondaries, I would say the Eagles secondary is better, but I think that's closer. The run game for the Eagles, yes, we got that one. Quarterback, I would say for sure Patrick Mahomes, and it's not close for me. Who are the pass catchers? Like, if you go break it down like that, I think there are a lot of advantages for the Eagles, but 15 and 87, 15 specifically is a really big difference here. So you got to play against 15.
So I'm with you. So it's when you look at just the analytics and just look at the team. Is it safe to say that Philadelphia has more talent? If you look all around, look at Philadelphia, but Mahomes is the X factor. Mahomes and Reed, is that what it's saying? Mahomes and Reed are the X factor.
It's like if you kind of. I mean, I would argue that in a vacuum, yes, but I think I would still trust. I know that you can look at some Vic Fangio stuff against whatever. Like, I get it, but in a vacuum, I think if I'm an alien, I drop them on each one, and they somehow play whatever. The Eagles team is better 1 to 53, maybe 2 to 50. No. Let's go 2 to 53, because I'm not giving Jalen Hurts. I'm not giving Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the best player of this game, and that's not. But I would say, the Chiefs are very, very good, but Andy Reid takes them to the next level, and I don't think Nick Sirianni does it. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I just don't think like Andy Reid. Like, look at his tree of people, right? Your McVay people, all get great opportunities and do really well. Well, so does Andy Reid. Baltimore, Buffalo, these are called playoff teams, and that's an Andy. So I would argue, Andy to me is.
And with that, stay in that same vein. So, and that's what's Andy Reid, of course, Sirianni. You got to give Andy Reid the edge. How much is Tom Brady, Belichick? How much is this? So, how do you separate? How would you? Because I have a hard time not really separating. But how would you separate? Because you think about Andy Reid, Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Andy Reid's played in been coached other places, and still had great teams, and with Brian Dawkins and great players. Andy Reid can't with Mahomes. How do you put it in a vacuum, and how would you justify? Because is it Belichick or is it Andy Reid?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Andy Reid, in part because, to me, it's a harder game to win right now. Not because it wasn't harder then, but, the way that the salary cap has been rising. But if you look at the percentage that the quarterback takes up, that is getting bigger. And you're not paying. Like, Tom Brady was not the highest paid guy. So you're able to get better players if you're paying your main guy.
But the best quarterbacks aren't the main. They're not the highest paid anymore. I'm with you. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Me and Aaron was talking. I'm like, look, and no disrespect, get your chicken, get your turkey. I get your money. I'm not talking.
Right.
But look at Dak. You look at Dak Prescott. He's not a top 7 or 8 quarterback, but he's the highest paid quarterback. So it's like
Deshaun Watson has something to talk to you about.
Exactly. And
that just handicaps the Browns from being any good.
I'm with you, but why is it if it's a receiver, right? The best receiver is usually the highest paid.
Mm-hmm. Except for Jamar Chase, who decided to be the Triple Crown winner by not getting a new contract. That I have a problem with that, but whatever.
No, it's usually if you're the best pass rusher, you're gonna. But quarterbacks, it doesn't make it's the exception. It's not the rule.
Well, and the other part is that the good teams now have to use. I just think it's more complicated now.
I agree.
Give it to Andy, because before it was kind of like this is the way it works, and you can't use like funny accounting to make it better. Now the teams that are really good right now, Rams. This is where Les, in my opinion, does an even more magical job than people realize. Renegotiating the contracts like every year, probably one of the most annoying things you can have to do, and he does it relentlessly. But so do the Chiefs, so do the Ravens, so do the good teams, and you just have to renegotiate it. This is the structure we're in. If you're going to play in that structure better, you're going to get the better players. Then you're going to not play the structure better, you're going to turn into the big.
We gotta let Cynthia go, but really quickly, we were talking about Andy Reid and just the dominance, of course, of the Chiefs. Are you saying it's going to be a high scoring game, low scoring game? Is it going to be Chiefs win by a touchdown? What's the kind of final thoughts you have on the game before we let you go?
Hilariously, my math ahead of the season, I had the Eagles over the Chiefs. Last game of the season, I had the Eagles over the Chiefs by 1 point. Now, do I think that's going to happen in my gut? Heck no. But that's what my math says, and that's what the model.
That's right.
But the model ahead of the season picked the Eagles over the Chiefs. So sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut. You know.
Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you.
I mean, it is awesome being able to. Cynthia Frelund, she is one of the most brilliant minds in all of NFL. I love it. I love you so much.
By the way,
stopping by.
Better person than you could even imagine.
I get cool people too.
You
Marcus
do? Oh my goodness.
Allen stopped
That's
by.
awesome.
All of course, thanks to this guy. I mean, look, I can get some cool people too.
You're
Just
the
saying,
best. I
I'm
love you. What are you talking
shout
about?
out
to be
Cynthia.
compared to Marcus Allen is like
You are.
thank you.
You are the sun. We're the planet. We revolve around you. That's absolutely
But
amazing.
it is interesting because you talk about analytics and you talk about for the game plan and but it is blowing up. Like I was talking to Bill Smith. I mean, NFL people want to know their stats. They want to bet. They want to. They are obsessed with what
in
you
case
do.
you want one bet on the game.
Okay, please, yes, chocolate.
Noah Gray to catch more than 1.5 passes. I'm just saying.
Ooh,
Great.
there's a
Boom.
good one
That's
there.
2 passes.
She drops a bomb on us.
I'm with
She
you.
drops a bomb on us. All right,
Yes,
Cynthia Frelund, we are so grateful to
I love you.
Thank you for stopping by. Please follow her on social media. She's on NFL Network. She's all over the place. But yeah, I'm excited. Go have fun. Radio Row.
Oh, you're
Enjoy
awesome.
the
Enjoy your
food.
knowledge.
And I don't know if you're drinking, but there's lots of good
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
adult beverages here. Having the best time. All
No
right.
hurricanes are way too sugary.
Ooh,
Too-
way
too
too
much
sugary.
sugar.
Too
I
sweet.
tried one and I'm like, this is great, except for the heartburn. It's not going to be good
No.
if I have it.
No.
Don't go after the
Don't
beignets
do it.
then. The beignets
No.
are
The
dangerous too.
hurricanes. Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
with you.
Cynthia Frelund, so good to have her. Thank you again for stopping
You
by.
got it.
All right, we have Sean O'Hara coming up. We're going to take a quick little break. Sean, our boy Sean, is going to join us. We're going to talk Giants. Maybe we're going to talk Eagles, some other things. We'll be right back live from Radio Row. Aaron Coscarelli, Lo Neal will be right back.